Hello everyone and welcome to episode 27 of the Break-Thru Active podcast. As always, I'm here with Mitch. How are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
Very, very excited for this podcast. It's been a topic that's been on my mind for quite some time. And
we've been talking about it the last few days, really, and you did a video on it yesterday, and I think it's drawn enough attention the last couple of days for us to do a bit of a podcast on it, so I'm looking forward to getting into it a little bit more.
Yeah, and basically, thief is the comparison of all joy. You know, I love my quotes.
You do love
Thief
your
is
quotes.
the comparison of all joy.
So explain that, because I don't even understand that.
So thief is a comparison of all joy. So we're 31. I'm 31, you're 30. We own 2 gyms. There'd be a personal trainer that would look up to us, that would think, geez, I wish what they had. And he might feel bad, or like he hasn't accomplished enough. And then me and you might look up to Fitness First and think, we haven't accomplished enough. So no matter where you are in life, if you are constantly comparing yourself to others, it is the thief of all joy. You can be feeling absolutely incredible about yourself. You look to the person next to you who's beat you in any realm of life and feel like shit. It is important, it is very, very important that you only compete with yourself. And that if you can improve every single day in all aspects of life on the previous day, that is what it's all about.
We spoke about this before. I can't remember what podcast it would have been in, but when we spoke about this in regards to social media and in terms of how we look, or maybe how we are supposed to look, quote unquote, a lot of the time we spend our time on social media comparing ourselves to people we don't even know. How we look in terms of someone on Instagram or Facebook that looks great and has got photography work done or modelling work done, and it can make you feel bad pretty quickly. And I guess that's sort of what you're touching on there in terms of comparing yourself to others. But a lot of the time it's even comparing yourself to people you don't even know, which arguably is even worse.
Absolutely.
So that's, I guess, what brought this up here today is this week we have done some fitness testing in here at our gyms, and we've had a lot of people who have been really happy with their times when they've finished the workout, and they
just that they looked at the workout, it was challenging, they showed up and they completed it. They're a winner.
Yeah, they know that they worked hard throughout the workout. They feel great about themselves. They log their results on Wodify, which is the software system that we've been using, and they see some other people who have scored some better times than them, and all of a sudden they are less impressed with their effort and they start to feel down about themselves. So that's what we wanted to explore here today, because it's always been a bit of a present within our sessions, even back in our boot camp days when we'd have people that would finish the workouts early and other people were a little bit behind, and they would think that they're not doing well, or they're not fit enough, or they're not strong enough. But now it's been a little bit more apparent when we do have times in these workouts, so we wanted to touch on that today.
It was a great example from this morning. Brooke Hughes, she told me it's her 41st birthday tomorrow. And I said to Brooke, that's incredible. You must be feeling a lot better today than you felt on your 40th birthday. And she poured out, I feel great, I'm stronger, I'm fitter, I'm healthier. But then if she looks to the person next to her, Emily, the 30-year-old marathon runner, she's going to feel like shit. She's going to think, am I strong enough? Am I fit enough? Am I healthy enough? Why don't I move, look? And why aren't I more like Emily? It's got nothing to do with Emily. It's the fact that you improved from the previous 12 months. I think that we all, as human beings, need to spend more time on our own, with our own thoughts, and just reflect. And have you improved over the last 12 months? Have you done what you said you were going to do? Have you followed through on your plans? And if you have improved, it's phenomenal. You've made progress.
It's an interesting point, because I think it is a good thing to have role models or people that you look up to or people you aspire to be or you're inspired by. But at no point should you be comparing yourself to them if it is affecting you in a negative way. So we both have people that we look up to, and we spoke about that before. And I think that's a very healthy thing to have, something
Absolutely.
that you're aspiring to keep you motivated, or even aspiring to be. I think that can help keep people on track. It can help keep people accountable, help keep people motivated. But at any point, if you start to get down on yourself because you think that person B was at this point in their life and they've done this, or they are able to do this and you can't, then that's when you need to reflect on that and come up with a new way to motivate yourself, because you want to be able to allow other people to inspire and to help you. But if it is negatively affecting the way that you're thinking about yourself and you're putting yourself down after you compare yourself to them, then you've probably got the wrong role model.
Yeah, or you view them in the wrong light. Like, someone that I really admire and look up to is Conor McGregor. I'm a massive UFC fan. We're the same age. We're both 31. I'm happy that I have 2 gyms and I own my house and I like my car, even though it's a very, very basic ute.
It's all right.
It's not too bad. But if I start comparing myself to Conor McGregor and he's hundreds of millions of dollars and his Porsches and Ferraris and 10 homes and Instagram followers, then it's not going to make me feel very good. I don't admire him due to his money. I admire the hard work that it took him to be good at his talent or God-given ability or whatever you want to call that, and that he's applied himself.
Yeah, and using that Brooke and Emily comparison again, and we're not saying that Brooke does have this thought, we're just using this as an example. If she was to look at Emily and can tell that she's been running for years and years and she works hard and she can admire her hard work and discipline, then that's great. Absolutely. If she is comparing herself to Emily in a workout and thinking, I am nowhere near as fit as Emily, I'm very unfit, I'm not doing very well, why am I bothering? Then that's the exact opposite of what you should be drawing inspiration from. So I think drawing that inspiration from hard work and from discipline and from habits is healthy, but if it's purely just on something that you're doing on that day, then you're going about it in the wrong way.
And we don't all start on zero. We are not all starting from the same place. I just said this off camera. I am always going to be fatter than Mitch. And that's not making an excuse. I could be as lean as Mitch, but it would take me a long period of sustained dieting to regularly sit at the same body fat percentage that Mitch does. And that's the truth. That is the truth.
Yeah, and that goes the other way with how much muscle mass that we have. I could get to the point where I bulk up, and I have in the past, but it's really, really challenging for me. And it's not a step that I want to take where I'd have to be eating over 5,000 calories a day and stopping doing any sort of cardio and walking my dogs and things, because that's all burning calories for me, and it's just not something I want to do. So like Jamie just said, we don't all start in the same spot, and that's why, like what Jamie was speaking about yesterday, it is really important to know our strengths, know what we're good at, know things that we can improve on, and then make those improvements on things that you need improving, but don't let it get you down if you're not as good at someone else as that same thing.
Yeah, and it's just, I use Conor McGregor as a great example again. He has unbelievable power in his hands. However, the trade-off to that is he gasses out. He gets very tired in a fight. Conor's gift is power. He sucks with endurance. And do you think Conor McGregor, one of the greatest athletes of all time, all this money in the world, do you think he's not working on his endurance? He is. He just hasn't got it.
Yeah, well, even if you use an example for, say, rugby league, and there are probably a few people listening who like the Knights, and you look at someone like Kalen Ponga, who's an exceptional fullback, plays in the back line, he can kick. He's starting to kick better, but he passes well, he runs well. He's not about to start playing in the front row taking hit-ups. He's not going to be able to do that. He's going to hurt himself because he's probably 85 kilos wringing wet when most of those forwards are 100 or 105 or 110 kilos. He knows what he's good at, and obviously the coach has put him in that position to be playing fullback and playing out wide where he can create more of an impact out there. But for him to think that he should be taking hit-ups in the middle against the other forwards, it's just crazy to think that. And if you apply that same principle to workouts in here, and Jamie touched on this yesterday as well, there are some people who are better at body weight movements because they are lighter. There are other people who are better on the cardio machines, the bike and the roll, because they're heavier. There are different people who are able to sustain longer endurance because they have done that in the past. Maybe they have been runners in the past, or they've done a lot of work on a bike or whatever it may be, and other people are stronger. So different people have different strengths and different weaknesses, and I think it's important for people to realise that. And I think the more that people get into their training, they will start to find, hey, I'm good at this. I'm really good at deadlifts. I can see myself deadlifting more than a lot of the other ladies around me. However, they're kicking my butt on the bike.
Back to the Knights. Imagine if Paul Harrigan started kicking on the fifth tackle. So why can't I kick? Andrew Johns gets to kick all the time.
Chief putting up
Why
a few
can't
bombs.
I kick? Or is it Tony Butterfield?
He was the other front rower.
Why can't I kick like Andrew Johns? And Andrew Johns is saying the same thing. Why can't I run hard of the line? Like, we are all so different. It's just, and we're not trying to make an excuse. For example, I'm not making an excuse that I cannot be as lean as Mitch, because I can be, but it is a lot more challenging for me to do so. The same thing for Mitch to build muscle. Like, you can aspire to be stronger, fitter, and healthier, but we do not all start at the same place.
So let's make that comparison to workouts in here in the gym, because that's what's really has brought this up in the last couple of days. So we won't name names because there's no need to, but there are certain people who are just stronger. They probably weigh a little bit more. There's a good chance that they've done weights in the past. They might have better leverage on those lifts, meaning they've got better mechanics because of how long their arms or how short their legs are or what their range of motion's like. And they would know that they are probably a bit stronger than other people. They would see other women or other men in similar age and everything else, and they lift more than them. However, when they doing a fitness test, like what we did the other day when it was a lot of running and predominantly body weight work, they might have beaten those same people that they were stronger than. Does that mean that they're better than them or that they need to improve their fitness? I mean, maybe, but only should they be looking to improve their fitness for them, not because they're trying to keep up with someone else who's able to move faster. Now, I think that's where sometimes with during workouts, and I've said this to Jamie off camera as well, it's been happening for years at our boot camp sessions. We would have someone who would finish early all the time, and other people would think, oh, geez, they're fit. I'm going too slowly because I finished 2 minutes behind them. And I guess now we're having a metric for that where we are able to log all our results here on Wodify to be able to check that. And the only comparison you should be making is to what you've done in the past. So I'll say that again. The only comparison you should be making is what you've done in the past with that same workout or that same movement. And it's been great. We've had a host of people who have shared photos and screenshots of improved deadlift personal bests.
Yeah.
I had Alicia Duffy this morning. She shared a personal best on the 1 kilometre road that we did. Now, did she beat Sally, who was next to her on the rower this morning? No, but that didn't bother Alicia. She looked at what she did in the past, and I think she beat it by like 15 seconds, which is unreal for 1 kilometre.
Yeah.
That is fitness improvement. If she was to be purely based off how she did compared to Sally, who is very fit and great on that rower, she might get herself down. But she felt great afterwards. She shared the photo, and it's happy days for Alicia.
Yeah. All basketballers are tall. There's no short basketballers.
Not many.
There's no overweight jockeys. Like, we all fit in to a category of our strengths and weaknesses, and that's it. I speak to Mitch every single morning at 4:45 a.m, and never have we spoke about, look at that person, they finished so fast. Like, I don't care. We care about two things. It's consistency and you just trying to do your best. That's it.
Exactly. And that's where when Alicia shared that today, and I've had a few other people even yesterday share some deadlift stuff after we did that, and it was improvements from their performance before. And that's what we talk about. That's what we're aiming to get out of this software. There is always going to be a little bit of friendly rivalry between some people who may be similar fitness level or similar strength level, and they are pushing each other to go a bit faster or a bit heavier or whatever it may be. But they're the minority. What we're really wanting to get out of this, and this is how I train, and this is how Jamie trains, and this is how anyone trains who, anyone short of a professional athlete who is trying to beat other people to make a living, you need to compare yourself to your previous performances, and that improvement is what keeps you motivated. I have hundreds of workouts saved in my notes in my phone where I've tracked my own times, and it wasn't too long ago when I compared a time that I got in a workout than I did in 2018. And I think I might have told you about this.
Fran?
It wasn't that one, but it was just another one. And I'd beaten my time. I went from 18 minutes to 16 minutes or something, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. But I know that that's 2 years of me getting fitter and stronger and doing more. And I was happy to have been able to beat that. If I compare that to a CrossFit Games athlete who could probably do it in 12 minutes, does that mean that I've done bad and I need to do better? Like, no. It just means that I've gotten better in the last 2 years and I'm really satisfied with that. And I think that's what we're aiming to get out of this software, and what people in our gyms are wanting, should be looking at, is comparing their previous results to what they're able to do now, and being able to see and, see that improvement from month to month, in year to year, hopefully.
Absolutely. And I just think it's just really, really important that we understand that we are all so different. From as simple as your bone structure is going to affect the way you squat. You cannot change your bone structure.
No, not easily.
If you are tall, you are going to struggle squatting. I used the example yesterday. If you are tall, you are going to struggle doing burpees. You know what Steve isn't going to struggle at? Dunking a basketball.
Wall balls. It's
just, we want Wodify to be used as a tool for you guys to track your progress, see progress, and be proud of your result. It is not a competitive tool. It is not a competitive app.
No, and I don't think we have a group of members that are super competitive with each other where it, does have a negative bias towards it. There's just been a few rumblings the last few days where you hear people saying, oh, so-and-so got this and I only got this. And that's really what we're addressing here. I think a lot of people are very happy with their progress. And I think a lot of people understand that not everyone in here is at the same fitness level, and the thought of being as fast or as strong as someone else is really out of their I guess goal set, so to speak. But if they're able to be inspired by that, and inspired by their hard work, and know that they've been putting in top effort for years, then that's really what we want to get out of it. If they're able to be inspired by that, not to the point where it is like, oh geez, I'm not doing very well because I'm nowhere near so and so.
Yeah, absolutely. I like Tiger Woods. Mitch likes Tiger Woods. I'm not inspired by his big bank account. I'm inspired by the fact that he's had numerous back surgeries, and he didn't win for 10 years, and he kept persisting and kept working hard. And was it the 18 Masters or 19 Masters?
Yeah, last year.
10 years he struggled through injury just to win a tournament. And that's what inspires me.
Yeah.
Just the consistency and the resilience that people go through to achieve things that they really care about. And he cares about he cares about Masters and being the greatest golfer of all time. You might care about, like Alicia, just improving your time on the rower. And that's just as important.
Yeah, and that was the whole reason why we introduced this, because in times gone past, the only way that a lot of people could gauge if they're doing well or not within their training was not even fat loss, weight loss.
Weight loss, yeah.
If they were 70 kilos and then they were still 70 kilos 3 months later, but they had been attending 4 sessions a week and eating better, then they think I'm not doing very well. However, now, like let's use Alicia as the example again. She may not have lost a single gram in the last 5 weeks or however long it was since we've done that last rowing workout, yet she knocked 15 seconds off her personal best there today, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say she feels great about herself. So having a numerical metric that you can measure yourself against is great, because before this it was only the scales, and we don't need to go down that rabbit hole as to how bad that is for everything. But as soon as we start comparing ourselves to other people, that's when you've really lost. So stay in your own lane. Realise that you are going to be good at certain things and not as good as other things. As long as you are seeing improvement, and not even that, as long as you are giving full effort with everything. There are going to be times where you try really hard and you give full effort, 100% effort, and you don't get a time as good as you did before. That's going to happen. Yeah,
and this definitely applies to like body image too, as in the pictures you see on Instagram and Facebook. They're not real. As in, I'm sure you can, and some mornings I wake up and I look good, and other mornings I look awful. But the pictures you see on Instagram and Facebook are the good ones.
Yeah, that's true.
You can
highlights.
You can have a six-pack at 5 a.m. and look really bloated, overweight, bend over, poor lighting and look awful. And when you compare that awful shot to the Instagram model, once again, you're not going to feel good about yourself. Compare that picture to the previous year.
And I think that's part of what we're wanting to focus on, consistency and effort in here. So that's why we are putting such an emphasis on consistency with how many visits people are coming to, because we know if they come regularly, 25, 50, 100, 200 visits, they are going to, and they put in a good effort. Obviously that's part of it as well. If they put in top effort most of the time, they're going to see improvement across the board. We have to believe in the process of doing things regularly is going to be the only way that you're going to see improvement. There's no shortcuts. It's not just being able to drop weight whenever you like because you're trying to be like someone you've seen on Instagram. And that's really why we don't really have a set of scales in here. And that's why we don't talk about that.
I've weighed myself for ages.
We don't do that. You go into gyms and they've got scales and all sorts of things. We don't find that to be something that is healthy for people to mentally to be doing very often. Obviously people do it in their own time, and we've started to focus more on consistency with training, and we really feel as though that is the ticket to you seeing better results, being happier, being fitter, being healthier when you are doing training and when you are training regularly over a long period of time.
And back to the scales and fat loss, if you are training consistently, if you are healthy, if you are happy, you are far, far more likely to eat good, whole, healthy, nutritious food with the right portions. Fat loss is a natural consequence of making good decisions throughout the week.
And we've noticed over the years as well, there is absolutely no doubt that when people are training well, they're eating better. That's an organic thing that happens. And it should really be the other way. If you're not training, you should be more focused on your food because you need to be, because you're not exerting yourself much, but it doesn't go hand in hand. We find when people are into their training, they're less likely to be eating crap, they're more likely to be making healthier decisions, drinking more water, doing all those things right. And we find that a lot of the time that just comes back to your mindset with training. So that's why we are preaching consistency so much, and we probably sound like broken records talking about it all the time, but we really feel as though that is the way that you are going to see the best results. We consistently talk about being consistent.
That's right. It's really important. All right, I like short, sharp podcasts. Guys, thank you for listening. I really appreciate your time. Thank you as always. I hope you get something out of this podcast.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.